What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another kid-filled day with Wifey and Wifey. I am Wavy, and this is Baby. Say hello.
Hey everybody, this is Tuesday of Wifey and Wifey fame. As soon as I started talking, I forgot everything that I was supposed to say, but I think I'm supposed to welcome you to our podcast. Me and my wife, we talk about relationships and life and other things. You can follow us on YouTube, you can follow us on Instagram, and you can donate to us at buymeacoffee.com/wifey and wifey. Every dollar you donate goes towards babysitting. Because obviously we need one.
She's not wrong. We obviously need a babysitter, but it's all good because we're going to make it work.
Always.
It's hump day, Wednesday when we're recording this, so it's all good.
And hump day is a good day to talk about this topic because we kind of talking about...
I can't stand you.
We gonna be talking about humping.
We're talking about intimacy.
Sorry.
Intimacy encompasses more than just humping. But as you can see,
that's my favorite type of intimacy.
Oh man, it's been a while too. We've been busy as shit. We need a babysitter for real. All both of us can do is just pass out. That's it.
I thought that was one of the reasons why it was a good topic to discuss because we have an interesting perspective. Being married and also being two women and also being tired AF
at all times.
At all times, mainly because of the kids, but also we just have so much going on. So we got to go about things a little bit differently. And maybe if you got to go about things a little bit differently, you got a chaotic life like we do, then maybe we can offer some insight. But like she said, we're going to be talking about intimacy.
Yeah, and this was going to be set up a little bit differently for our podcast people. It's going to be set up kind of like an advice type thing because this is kind of based off something we got off of social media. Somebody reaching out for advice and asking a question. So we're going to read you guys that, and then we're going to go into the podcast and our usual shenanigans.
Yeah. It's going to be a good time.
It will.
Yeah.
Usually is. Until it's not. Anyway, before we get into all that, how are you, love?
I'm pretty good. I just finished like the second draft of a new book that I really, really enjoy and like, and I can't wait to release it off into the world.
Is this one I edited?
No, you haven't. You have never seen this before.
She said second draft, which kind of makes me happy because that means that hopefully it won't be as bad when I receive it.
Yeah, I read through it and like made some adjustments yesterday. And if you follow me on TikTok, Tuesday Writes on TikTok, one of the last scenes I wrote was the two main characters end up at this creek and they have some intimate moments.
She killing me with the intimate moments. Like, oh, okay.
They was hunching though. They wasn't holding hands. That wasn't the type of intimacy they was doing. I think they like look longingly into each other's eyes first, so it's cute or whatever.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
How are you today?
I'm okay. I'm working from home. But
if you work with her, you didn't hear that.
Girl.
Don't be snitching, because I snitch on you.
Oh, okay, miss. I used to work there so I could snitch on people. Do you know that somebody got let go? Let me show you real quick, y'all. Let me be petty.
I was looking at the picture, and I was like, is that...
Let me be petty. You already had pulled up?
When I came in, I was asking you what you was doing, and I figured you was going to tell me, but I was like, well, obviously that's not...
I wasn't thinking about it. That didn't even cross my mind.
Girl,
I'm gonna text her and see what happens. Anyways, back to our normal schedule programming because obviously we over here being petty about some other stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm good. I'm chilling. You know, I'm working and then doing this. You know, perks of working from home. You know what I'm saying? Usually I would be making breakfast at this time, so you guys are getting me hungry. So the shenanigans are gonna be probably extra fun. But yeah, you know, moving right along. We are going to hop into this, and I'm just gonna read what we're gonna call them the letter writer because I don't know this person. We're gonna read what the letter writer wrote.
Yep.
And then we are going to hop into the topic.
Yep.
All right. It says, my wife and I have been married since July 2021. I knew this was an issue before, but thought maybe being her wife would change it. Intimacy is very important to me, and we hardly ever have it, like months go by. Once I'm upset and advised, I may get it few days, then back to weeks and months. What can I do about this? That was the question. What can this person do about the intimacy issues between them and their spouse?
So when I initially read this, the first thing I thought was like, what do you think intimacy means? Because intimacy encompasses a lot of things, right? If you aren't having sex, that's different. That's a part of intimacy, but just a part.
Facts. And then me also, I'm thinking like, if it was an issue before, why did you think it would change? That was the first thing I thought.
Yeah, that was the other part.
Why didn't you work on your intimacy issues before you married somebody, especially when you know that you're the type of person who physical touch and intimacy is very important to, and you're marrying somebody the opposite?
Because you got married in July. It's currently February. It's only been 8 months.
Yes, it's literally only been 8 months. So, and I mean, I guess we kind of have this, not the same issue, but because we're intimate all the time, but we rarely ever have time for like, what have you been calling it?
Hunching.
Not rarely, but like we have to make time because like these guys don't care about us. They don't care about us. They don't care about our needs around here. And she wakes up so early with the oldest one, and I'm usually up late so that she can get rest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, our schedules just don't always allow.
I think, what was it, yesterday? You went to bed at 2:30, and I got it. So we weren't even in bed at the same time.
Yeah, I went to bed at 2:30, and then, like, she literally got up, like, 10 minutes after I got into bed. Because I try to stay up with the kids because they wake up in the middle of the night. Yeah. And I'm a hard sleeper. So if we go to bed at the same time, she's going to be the one that wakes up and hears them screaming. But she's also the one that wakes up early with them. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I try to
keep it balanced
as far as that's concerned. So a lot of times we don't, we have to like literally be like, okay, they're going to be gone. It's time. But we find ways to be intimate all the time, loving on each other all the time because, I mean, at the end of the day, we do love each other. So why wouldn't we want to be intimate with each other? Yeah. Whether that's just like playing footsies, on the couch while we
I don't know why I thought that was so funny, like footsies.
I'm dead. While we watch one of our favorite shows, so it makes me question like why you would want to be with this person if they don't care about the intimacy that you need. Yeah. Or
are you?
Why did you think that
if you're not
piece
able...
of paper? Because marriage is a piece of paper.
That's not gonna fix.
Was gonna fix your issues in your relationship.
Yeah, and I think once again, it's like you had these issues before. Everybody has different sex drives, libidos, and depending on what's going on,
alien moments.
You said alien moment?
Yeah.
Libidos. Depending on, especially for women, hormone, stress, literally anything can knock somebody's sex drive through a loop. If there's like a lot of changes going on, or like even just feeling the pressure from your partner to perform can sometimes give people so much anxiety that they don't want to do it. So that's the other thing. What are you doing, letter writer, to make that other person comfortable? And if you're equating the only intimacy is sex, then you're probably putting too much pressure on the sex and not enough romancing to get to the sex.
Yeah, I watched this show. It's an old show, y'all, but like recently I just like rewatched it. It's called Strange Sex. And there's this guy on there and he like is married to this woman and he never wanted to have sex. And he ended up going to basically like a sex therapist and basically finding out he had like control issues surrounding orgasms or whatever. And they literally had to schedule sex because his anxiety was so bad. Like specific days, specific times. That way he knew it was coming. He could kind of control. Like, and it's weird because you never know what's going on through somebody's mind unless y'all talk about it. Because you don't know how that person may be feeling about themselves, or even if maybe that's just not something that they want to be doing all the time. That's maybe something y'all should have discussed
prior to walking down the aisle. One of those conversations.
Because at the end of the day, like, people on the internet are not going to be able to help you figure out
why your person
doesn't want to be intimate.
Yeah.
Because the way that the letter's written, really to me, seems like when you're fed up, you throw a temper tantrum, and then it's supposed to be fixed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Versus you guys having a serious conversation about how you can move forward in your intimacy and make steps towards it being compatible for both of you guys. And you're not a baby. Throwing temper tantrums is not for grown people.
Yeah.
And that's why it continues to be this up and down, because really nothing's been resolved. It's like you letting the kid tell you that they're going to have a lollipop before dinner because they've been kicking and screaming about it. Shit's going to happen every day. Did that resolve everything or no?
Exactly.
You know?
And I think that's probably my main advice would be, one, you should be having these conversations before you get married. Before you get to the point of marriage, is talking about sex, what expectations are, what people's ideas of intimacy is. How often do you want to be having sex, ideally? How, like, these are things that turn me off, turn me on, blase, blase. And since that's obviously not been a conversation that's had, then you need to just go back to that foundational conversation and be like, hey, we're not really getting it on as much as I'd like to. Like, let's get on the same page and try to find a compromise. Because it's not, I'm not going to say it's never a point where both people are going to always get what they want in that avenue. Because, sometimes it is. But sometimes you do have to compromise. People don't have the same sex drives. They don't have the same motivation. They don't have the same energy levels. That's kind of where we usually are. We don't really have to have deep conversations about not getting it on, because the reason why is usually the reason why. Like, I'm fucking tired. I'm in the bed asleep, and you told me to wait just 10 minutes, and I fell asleep on you. I'm so sorry. We both know what each other is going through because we've communicated that, and it kind of is what it is.
Yeah. It's all about communication. Even in things like this, I've seen a lot on the internet when someone says communicate your sexual needs, and they're like, I shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to talk about sex. If I got to talk about sex with somebody, then we're not meant to be together, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah.
And that's
but
how you end up in
a situation like this. Exactly.
Where you think somebody is just going to do exactly what you expect all the time.
Exactly. This is not me saying that you need to sit down and have one 4-hour conversation about sex. This is me saying that you need to communicate your expectations in your relationship. You know, when you first meet somebody, you talk about all types of stuff. So what's the problem with saying, you know what, I'm a freak, I like to have sex this many times a week? You know, and then as the relationship progresses and y'all have been dating, you know, a few more months, and y'all are having sex more frequently, you tell them, hey, you know, my favorite thing in bed is this. What's your favorite thing, you know? And as you have those conversations, eventually you'll know what gets somebody's motors going and, you know, what their sex drive really is and how you guys can make the relationship work versus you doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, because that's the definition of something. I'm not going to throw you out there. But maybe you know. Yeah. It's just like you gotta grow up and realize that not everything is a perfect storybook fairy tale. You know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, one, they don't want to have these conversations. That's already weird to them, and then like the idea of talking about it like diminishes the mood, or you know, even like things like scheduling sex, people don't like to do that because they think like if it takes away the spontaneity or whatever. And honestly, just complete transparency, we be putting it on the calendar all the time, especially now that we're busier, we have kids. If we don't block out time to be together.
And people think like scheduling sex is like, hey, we gonna write out every day this month, or we gonna fuck. No, scheduling sex for me may be like in the morning. I send her a text like, hey man, you need to take a nap. You need to take a nap. You need to be full of energy at 10 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
That, you know, that like, may be scheduling, and this because
once the kids are asleep,
I'm at work, and I'm like, it's going down tonight. I don't care what you talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not even like in an unattractive way. Like, people have phone sex all the time. They sext all the time. Like, so if you're sexting with somebody, does that not create the intent later on that y'all gonna get it in? Because that's kind of like scheduling sex. Yeah. And if they come home and like throw you against the wall and y'all bone, you were still anticipating it. You still expecting it because y'all have been talking about it all day.
Yeah. So I mean,
even if you didn't say like be ready, we fucking, like that's kind of what you've been telling me all day. Yeah. That it's implied that we're going to
the next time I see you,
it's going down. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, we do the like a lot of the like, hey, make sure you take a nap because we gonna stay up late tonight. Also like, hey, I got somewhere for the kids to be, and I got somewhere for you to be. So that might be like, okay, on Saturday the kids got a birthday party and we can have some time to ourselves, whatever it might be. So yes, it's on the schedule, and because we do live such busy lives, it's really easy to let all of the other things consume you and it not prioritize that special time with your special someone.
But so that just leads to people ending up in relationships and not knowing how they got there.
Yeah.
You know, like you have these people that haven't prioritized themselves for the last 20 years because they had 2 kids 2 years apart, and now the kids is gone, and what are we supposed to do? You know? Yeah. Because now you don't know how to be intimate with each other. You don't know each other. You're not, you know, compatible. And that's
you know,
crazy
the
to me.
Spontaneous intimacy, whether it's laying on the couch, when on Monday you were asleep and I just went in there and like cuddled with you and read a book. Stuff like that is really easy because it's not, you don't need a lot of energy, you don't need a lot of foresight. It's just when the moment's over, when we are interrupted, we're interrupted. But I know my sexual needs and I know how much I need to be getting it on. So that needs to sometimes be a priority. And I sometimes need to tell myself, as well as her, like, hey, it's time. Um, Usually it's because I'm ovulating and I've lost my mind, and we got to do some things. We got to make some things work.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, and we kind of touched on this before, but intimacy comes in so many different levels, and you need to be providing that at those levels as well.
Yeah,
it cannot just be sex.
Yeah,
it can't be. When y'all are, and I hate kind of doing these type of things because I always want all the information. I'm one of those people that has a million questions so I can get you to where you want to be. Like, do y'all hold hands? Like, when y'all are out at the store, like, do you just, like, come up randomly and, like, give her a hug? Like, do you call, do you tell her you love her? Do you, like, do y'all have, like, those small levels of intimacy that make somebody feel wanted and needed and, all these other things? Do you know this person's insecurities? Like, maybe they have an anxiety around sex. You know what I mean? Like, do you know that? Do you know if, like, maybe initiating sex for them is an anxious thing? I also wonder if the letter writer is a femme or if the letter writer is a stud or any other type of combination. Because maybe the letter writer is a femme and her wife is a stud, and she just expects that the stud is supposed to initiate sex all the time, and maybe the stud has an issue with intimacy when it comes to initiating sexual contact. Maybe that's something where you need to take more of the lead and say, hey, let's go. Like, maybe, but I don't know any of these things.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, you need to have a conversation with your partner.
Because there's
not
so
a temper tantrum.
That goes into
I'm so upset. Maybe after one of these times where y'all are kind of good for a couple days and there's no animosity, no hurt, no feelings that are negative involved, you sit down and you say, hey, I just noticed that we always have this up and down issue when it comes to sex and intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to fix it? I'm not upset right now. I'm not hurt. I just want to see how we can move forward in our relationship and be successful and be together, because there seems to be a disconnect, and just have that conversation.
Yeah.
And everybody actually be honest. I think that's a lot of the problem too, especially like in America. Like, sex is so taboo in America.
Yeah.
And it's like everything is taboo. When, at least with your partner, it shouldn't be. You should be able to be open and honest. I don't care what type of relationship you're in, what the, gender roles are, what type, everybody should be able to say, hey, I like to have my butt licked, or like, I want a finger in there while you suck my dick, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But America has people thinking that sex is this thing that is strictly like women do this and men do this, and that's is inappropriate during sex, and it's just not true. You should be able to be completely honest with your partner about your sexual needs, your sexual desires, what you want, in that capacity, and not feel judged.
Yeah. It was funny because I found this on the interwebs, and it was like half the comments were like, send her to therapy because she doesn't want to have sex, and then the other half was like, I would be offended if someone made that suggestion. And I would also be offended, but not necessarily the reason why a lot of people were saying. It's like, it implies that the person who's not as interested is somehow broken and needs to go fix it. But really, it's both of them probably that need to, if not talk to each other, talk to other people to get their issues squared away so they can come together and have that common ground. Mm-hmm. Just because someone doesn't want to have sex all the time does not mean that they are a broken human being. That just means that they're different from you. And vice versa. Just because someone wants to do it all the time doesn't mean they're broken. It's just who they are as a person. The issue comes when two people who have differing drives can't find common ground. And a lot of the times it's you can't find common ground because one, you're not trying, or you're only thinking of yourself, and you're putting too much pressure on that person to perform and be what you need to them to be instead of stepping to the plate and being what they need to be. Because I mean, personally for me, as tired as I be, if she rub on my thigh the right way, rub on my knee, my little elbow or something, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna perk up. I might still fall asleep, but
it will.
But I'm gonna be like, hey, maybe we can do this. Maybe I should drink some coffee at 11 p.m. And just see what we can get popping.
I'm dead.
My wife, she be, she be doing what she do. So sometimes she be doing it and I'll be like, whoa, I got 3.5 minutes to spare before I pass out of exhaustion. Maybe we can get it popping.
3.5 minutes can do nothing for me. Nothing.
That's one of the reasons why we don't be doing it so much, because we are not quickies.
No.
That's one of the reasons.
Any sane
we have to schedule a time because we have to block out that time. It ain't 5-10 minutes.
Any lesbian couples out there that specialize in quickies, I am looking for classes for us. So, hit us up.
It's not gonna happen.
DM me.
Because even if we be like, all right,
on Instagram, and just let me know, like, how y'all manage quickies. How do y'all manage quickies?
I think part of it is self-control, because, like, you be like, okay, so I am, fine after 5-10 minutes, but I'd be like, but what about 5-10 more?
Are we fine after 5 or 10 minutes?
Another one.
Are we fine after 5 or 10 minutes?
No, I'm not, because we don't stop.
That's the thing. Like, I don't really know how quickies work. I don't really know how quickies work. Maybe I just need training. I don't know. Y'all let me know. I don't know. But yeah, just have the conversation. Have those conversations before you freaking sign the paper to get married.
Before you go to the what is it, the county office, the registrars,
to even get the paper.
The drive, it's gonna be a drive. It's gonna be at least 15-minute drive. Maybe I should just talk about a few things on the way there.
I'm bothered. Just don't do stupid stuff like marry somebody and you've been having the same problem with them since before y'all got married.
They'd be surprised at the problem.
And this goes for everybody: women, men, non-gendered people, non-binary people. Like,
why?
Stop it.
Y'all be doing
Stop
this.
it. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean that that's the person you should be with for the rest of your life. And I know that's hard for some people to like wrap their minds around. Like, oh no, but I love them with all my heart and blah 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 blah. But like, are y'all good for each other? Because I don't care.
Refer to previous episode. Are we moving too fast? Also, maybe this is an episode we could do. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you need to get married right now. Jumping into it too soon, I think, is the reason why a lot of people, that first year of marriage is so hard and things kind of derails because you weren't ready.
You haven't had any of the tough conversations.
Yeah,
like I get on the internet.
You want to get on the bench and squat 300 pounds, but you've never even squatted 120, and then you wonder why you break your legs.
Yeah,
this is why.
And I get on the internet a lot, and people just kill me with the way that they discuss like
relationships.
Yes, marriage and intimacy and all these things.
It's because a lot of people don't know what they're talking about.
Have no understanding for what it actually is. And like, people will literally say, oh, marriage is supposed to be easy. If it's not, or like relationships is supposed to be easy, you know? If it's not easy, then anybody, you know, telling you that you should stay in that relationship is crazy. And that's wild to me.
Man.
If you've had the easiest time in a relationship and y'all have not had any strife, trouble, miscommunications,
there's one coming.
Hit me up. Tell me how you did it. You know? Let me know.
Life itself is hard.
So that sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, life itself is hard. Like, so inviting someone else to live it with you and you think it's going to be easy.
I'm curious. Like, I'm not even judging at this. I just want to know how you did it.
Let us know.
Give us the secret.
Come on to the podcast.
Because I want to tell the world. We should all be able to have the easiest relationships ever of all time. Mm-hmm. It doesn't exist. That's why nobody's ever said anything. Because it doesn't exist. People that tell you that relationships shouldn't be hard and it should always be easy, smooth sailing, they're liars.
Yeah.
They're liars. Because it's not always about the relationship. It's not always about the two people. Mm-hmm. Even outside circumstances make your relationship hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just life comes. That's the thing. And to say that you never been through anything in a relationship and that it's like been so easy the whole time,
it's not gonna stay that way.
It's
definitely not gonna stay that way.
You can lie to Jesus. You can't lie to me. That's how I feel.
And on that note, you got anything else to say about intimacy?
Nah, I think we pretty much covered it. You know, y'all talk to your partners. That's it.
That's always what it come down to. And I don't know how many times we got to say it before somebody out there listens.
Probably for the rest of our lives.
Probably for the rest of this podcast career. You know, I keep doing it. We out here. We appreciate you for listening. If you're on the podcast listening, come on over to YouTube. We do Advice No One Asked Us every Wednesday. Don't quote me on that. If you're on the YouTube, comment, like, all that stuff. Hit us up on Instagram, Wifey, the letter N, Wifey. I'm at Tuesday Writes, at Wavy.painter.
Because I got hacked.
Yeah, she got hacked. Steve over there on the other page ain't letting that go. We appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day. Have a good week.
As always, thanks for rocking with us.
Peace.